Hey everybody, this is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff, and I'm here to introduce Sarah Barry. She's from Sydney, Australia, and has been reading for quite some time. She's a Vipassana meditator, she's an occasional trapeze artist, and she rides one of the most fantastic, amazing, decorated, artistic bicycles you have ever seen. So, enjoy.
Hi there, my name is Sarah Barry, also known as Psychic Sarah, and this is Tarot Off the Cuff. I'm talking to you from Gadigal Wangal Land, the inner west of Sydney, Australia. This is the Next World Tarot by Cristy C. Road. And today's card, the Chariot. Pace. Pace as tarot reader. There's many ways in which we can look at pace. We can look at the pace at which we go from amateur to professional, at what pace we go from casually to part-time to full-time, if we want to. I think it's also about looking at the pace that we do our readings as well, things that we need to take note of. Maybe I'll talk more about that because not everyone needs to be a full-time tarot reader. I've been full-time for a while now, since 2003. And my transition from professional 2002 to full-time 2003 was very fast and not necessarily something that I would recommend. That pace, anyway. It's fine if you don't mind being a bit of a pogo for a while. But I think pace as tarot readers, how it is that how we talk, the pace at which we talk, to make sure that we're as present as possible. It's something that I've had to take note of for myself a lot over the years. When I first started, feedback that I would get would be that I'd be mumbling a lot and talking really quickly, and people would ask me to slow down. And then people closer to me, like friends and family that I was doing readings for, saying like, Sarah, you're mumbling, you got to speak up. And of course, it's not just a matter of just speaking up, because realizing that perhaps part of the reason while I was mumbling is I didn't want to be wrong. And so I thought, well, if I mumbled it, then they don't really know if I'm being right or wrong. It's just this sense of not really wanting to trust in what I was saying. And as we grow as tarot readers, we have to have a fair amount of trust in ourselves and in our capacity to discern the cards and translate the messages therein. We need to be able to trust ourselves that we're looking after ourselves enough in our day-to-day lives so that we are in a good position to offer wise, sage counsel to other people. So it's to be expected that as tarot readers, when we start the reading, that we might start to speak a lot more quickly. But even then, I think it's still possible to keep an eye on that, an ear on that, and to slow down. It's something that I've had to do, for example, for people who don't have English as their first language. And well, gosh, crap, I only speak one language. So, hats off to anyone who can speak more than one, 2, 3, 4, 5. But from the very beginning, I was fortunate enough to have people come and see me for readings who didn't have a great fluency in the English language. And so they taught me to slow down. They'd often say, can you please slow down? Or they'd interrupt me and say, can you please slow down, speak more slowly and use more simple words. And so they taught me to slow down and to check my language, so that as a result, I became even more present and able to not censor myself, but regulate my words, and question why I might use bigger words. For example, was that me just trying to show off, or was it relevant? Do people need to hear academic kind of words? I mean, I'm not an academic, so I don't really use academic words anyway. But it's important for people to be able to understand what we're saying. And so whether there's a bit of a block because of language, or whether a bit of block because of education, or a block just because it can be quite an overwhelming experience to be sitting with someone and hearing them talk all about us and say, okay, they're still talking about me, and it's been 15 minutes, they're still talking about me in half an hour, shit, and it can be a lot to take in. It's why people can be a bit nervous, I think, when they come in for readings. Like, who knows what they're going to say? Who knows what we're going to say? Because realistically, we don't know what we're going to say until we're saying it. This is tarot off the cuff. This isn't me signing off. This is tarot off the cuff. I had no idea what I'm going to be talking about until the moment I pulled the Chariot card. And even then it's like, yeah, okay, we're talking about pace. So that is part of the beauty, I think, of being a tarot reader, just learning how to go with the flow, go at the pace, just speak as we need to regulate ourselves, to still be at breakneck speed sometimes, but to still be able to slow down and pause and to check in. How's it going on? Maybe something, if you don't already do this in your readings, that there's a bit of a before, a middle and end. For me, for example, first of all, at the very beginning, I let people know how I'm going to work, just because every reader works differently, right? So my spiel is that, first of all, I'll talk freely for about 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'll check in to see if there are any questions that you wanted to ask. If not, I'm more than happy to just go with the flow. And if at any point you want me to clarify something or talk more or less about something or not about something at all, just jump in, let me know. Sometimes I might add, just totally fine if you jump in mid-sentence, because sometimes I won't stop talking, or I'll be looking like I'm about to say something really interesting and people don't want to break the flow or something, so they silence themselves. And so I like to give people lots of leeway. It's like, yeah, do this, do jump in, it's totally fine, it's all part of the reading. So that's the beginning of the pace, and then I talk freely, and then I check in and say, okay, so are there any questions you wanted to ask at this point, or areas you want me to focus on? And sometimes people say, yes, I've got this list of questions. Or sometimes they say, no, I just want to go with the flow. And then I might say, just to be clear, because go with the flow can be quite an open thing. And because sometimes people are harboring a secret wish that I'm going to talk about something in particular, and if I don't talk about it, it means that it's not important, when in fact it's just no, if you want to talk about something, then tell me about it. If you're pregnant and you want me to talk about your pregnancy, just tell me you're pregnant, because I don't want to waste my energy trying to figure out if you're pregnant or not. And I'm not that kind of reader that does this kind of guessing game. Are you this, are you that? I just be upfront about certain things. It's totally fine. So when I've done that initial spiel and I say, are there any questions or areas? And they say, no, I want to go with the flow. Then I might say, okay, so we can are there particular areas of your life you want to go with the flow with, or you just want to go wild and see what happens? Every now and then someone does just say, just go wild. But vast majority of the time, people then realize that there are actually very particular things they want to look at. Say, yeah, my work, or my relationship, I'm having difficulties with my mum right now. I wanted to see how I can speak with her more, fluidly, more fluently. So these are all ways of getting a particular pace, the pace to the reading, how we're going to go. And then towards the latter part of the reading, I'm keeping an eye on the time and say, okay, we've got 5 minutes left. Is there anything here you want me to clarify? Is there something new you wanted to bring to the table, or do you want to pull a wild card? And then we go at that point. So that's one aspect of pace, how to pace your reading. Pace, make sure you're not talking too quickly and you're not mumbling, not doing what I used to do. And I think there's also something about, and checking our words to make sure that we are as accessible as possible so that anyone can understand where we're coming from. So one of the many things that I've learned and loved and enjoyed about having people come who aren't so vigorous in their understanding of the English language is that I get to learn more about my own language, because often they'll then say, what does that word mean? And sometimes I, shit, what does that word mean? I've never had to explain it before. So it's made me I think a better reader, a better teacher, a better educator, because I'm clear about the words that I'm using and why I make those choices to use those words. It can be a choice as to, pace, making a choice whether to swear or not. Sometimes, of course, swearing just comes out. I personally have zero problem with people swearing. I think just do it. There are all kinds of studies that say people who swear are very smart people, very intelligent people. Some people do have reactions to it, though, for various reasons. So yeah, if we're more aware of our pace, then we can just kind of slow everything down like Neo in the Matrix, and just to see the bullets coming and say, is it the right thing to swear? Or is it totally fine? Often people will respond like, sometimes like, I'm trying to think of another way to say this, but only a swear word's coming to mind. I said, I'll just say it, just swear, I don't mind. So you can always check in with that. It's like, it's really hard to know how else to describe this predicament that you're in right now and how to move beyond this. So I would say that as tarot readers, when we're looking at how we pace our readings, that it's also about being able to slow down enough at times to make sure that we're really in our bodies and really conscious, really clear with the cards, with the person in front of us, talking to them, not to their past. If you've seen them before, for example, and you can remember little stories about them, or not talking to them in a particular way because they happen to look just like someone. And I don't know if you've ever had this before, but I've had countless situations where I'm doing a reading for someone who is the mirror doppelganger of someone in my life. Sometimes like might be look just like a friend who died, or sometimes they look just like my sister, or just like a really good friend. And so in those moments I check my pace to make sure that it doesn't matter who they look like, I'm not talking to that person they remind me of. I'm talking to someone completely different in front of me. And if we've got more capacity just to slow down, to regulate ourselves, be in the room, be really present, be really grounded, then when we're talking with people, we're more likely to be understood, and they're more likely to be there with us in the chariot every step of the way, and not constantly feel like they're kind of rushing after us, kind of only half understanding. And maybe if they listen to the recording later, they'll get more out of it. And people usually get more out of the recording anyway. But it'd be nice if they don't actually have to rely upon that 100% in order to get some kind of reflection and understanding on the reading. So yeah, embody the chariot, embody that sense of pace, to make sure that your client is with you as you are with them, and everyone has a really good time. So there we have it, the chariot. My name is Sarah Barry, also known as Psychic Sarah, and this has been Tarot Off the Cuff. Bye for now.
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hi, this is Nooch.
Thanks for watching.
If you like what you saw, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll know when new ones are coming. And share with your friends.
We'll see you soon.